Excellent. And we are live for today's episode of Ask Karen, which is where my members, other show hosts, get an opportunity to share a little bit about what they do, who they are. I don't know, maybe a little bit about why they do what they do. And then obviously is as an extra bit of training for you guys, because everybody does have questions, and don't think that you're on your own, right? We don't know what we don't know. So you might be having the same question. So even within the group, if you're having any issues, just ask. There's no shame in it, right? And I can do a screen recording and show you how to do things, because really we are working as a little bit more of a community. So today's guest, well, Tracey, we've known each other for very long time.
3 years. Yeah, quite a while.
So Tracey, I used to, for those of you, if you don't know this, I do originally come from the fitness industry, sort of 25 years in the fitness industry. Tracey's still there. She's still going strong, going stronger. So Tracey, share with the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Good morning, Karen. Good morning, everybody. My name's Tracey Edwards. I am the owner, founder of Redox Fitness and Events. It was actually set up probably about 12, 13 maybe years ago now, but it's been kind of bubbling in the background. And it's kind of come to the forefront in the last 3 or so years, where everything went online when the pandemic hit and everybody had to take a swift left turn and, see where we could go with what we did. So Redox has been there as kind of an umbrella community. And that's the kind of aspect I really go for, is that it's a community of various different types of people, all ages, all backgrounds, all fitness levels. Some of the people within Redox are not even fitness related. They're there for the social side of things. Some of them cross over and do, a bit of everything. But it's a community, and it's something that I wanted to develop quite some years ago. And it's just really gained momentum in the last 3 or so years, which is amazing. I'm now juggling online classes, face-to-face, one-to-ones and small group classes, outdoor boot camp styles. I'm doing some corporate stuff. I'm doing in-house stuff in schools and also residential homes, which I've just started recently for the older generation, which is phenomenal. I've still got some online classes kind of working alongside some face-to-face. I've gone back to a couple of my clubs, but I'm only doing kind of 6 classes within the clubs now compared to 26 that I was doing. Yeah,
how are you still doing it? How are you? I gave up because I thought I can't keep doing it. I thought I'm getting too old for this. It's interesting, isn't it? I suppose the where we have come from, because we're so used to doing so many different things and going here, there, everywhere. Your whole business now is the same, but I bet you're thriving in that environment because that's what you love, right?
It's just a bit of everything. And I like being involved with different groups of people, different populations. I teach the little kids now. I teach yoga for kids in a nursery school, which is adorable. And then I teach the older population either in like a leisure centre or a one-to-one basis. I've got a lot of my older clients now who just do small group training. I go to their houses.
Brilliant.
They get 3 or 4 of their friends round, and they just have it as a social event, but they've got a fitness element to it as well. So it really is, it's an umbrella, and it's of everything that goes in.
Love
and
that.
There's not one thing that says, well, you shouldn't do that or you shouldn't do this. If you like it, if you enjoy it, we do it. And that might be a fitness class, that might be a coach trip to the Champagne Vineyard, that might be a wellness retreat. It's vast. There's a bit of everything going on.
Love that. And I think that is what a lot of people enjoy doing. It's funny when people come into the online world, as it were. I mean, I've had coaches in the past that have told me, no, you've got to do one thing. And I'd be thinking, no, I don't. I don't like just doing one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's good for even those out there that have been told maybe the same thing. No, do what you love. If you enjoy being involved in different things, that's the whole point in it. Otherwise, it's just going to feel like work. And you're all choosing these things because you're passionate about what you do. The whole community aspect, I think that is the one thing that's coming out of the madness of the last 3 years, that this is what people want to be involved.
Yeah.
So you've got fitness, you've got this, you've got the brilliant events. This is what people want to do. So you've got online events, live events, retreats. Man, you're a busy girl.
Yeah. It's chaos, but I like it. It's good. I've just started saying about jumping around for so long. I've been in the fitness industry 30 years next year.
Oh my goodness.
It's insane.
It is insane. Well, at least you're only doing 6 live now.
Yeah, exactly. There are still some people coming to my classes that have been with me since the beginning, which is crazy. We're all like, which bit hurts today, sort of thing, you know? So I do a lot more verbal teaching now and a lot more kind of yoga, Pilates, meditation style stuff. And I've just in the last year or so branched into sound meditation. So I've done my level 1, level 2 crystal bowl sound healing training. So I now offer that as well, which is just amazing. So I do that either on a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2 basis within my studio here, or I go to clients' houses, take my bowls to them. And again, it's either on a 1-to-1 or if they want to get a small group of friends together. And I did a couple of big aerobathon events where we used the sound bowls at the end for the cool down session. And I had an audience of about 80 people at the aerobathon. So it was a nice big charity fundraiser. And then again, it was very much community based. And I just went in at the end and did the sound, and everybody was totally blissed out at the end. So they've been banging around for 3 hours and then they just lie down and absorb the vibration, which is amazing.
Which is what this is about, isn't it? You're on the network of raising vibrations. This is what we want to do. And I think that's what you're going to be adding into your own, because you're coming on as a radio show host and a podcast channel host. And I believe that's what you're going to be adding in at the end anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. So I intend to do a kind of a last 10 to 15 minutes of my podcast radio shows is going to be sound meditation. So there'll be a little bit of chat, there'll be a topic, and then everybody gets the opportunity to lay down or sit in their seat or wherever they are and literally just relax for 10 to 15 minutes, because nobody does that. Nobody stops, nobody sits down, nobody breathes properly. You know, nobody kind of just gives themselves that time to just sit or stand or lay or whatever they need to do in order to just take a little bit of time out. So I thought it would be a nice way to kind of integrate that into my show, make it a little bit unique, but it also gives people, not forces, that's the wrong word, but, you know, gives them that opportunity to know that, you know, at least once they're going to be able to sit there and do this on a bi-weekly basis. So it's great.
I think that is brilliant, because it is about the experience, which is how this has all come about, you know, through interviewing. And I know you were an early guest on my show anyway, about 18 months ago. It's one thing to hear somebody tell you what they do and how they do it, and it's a separate thing to actually experience the moment, which is what the whole goal with this was. Because if people are thinking, what's sound therapy? Well, come on the show and Tracey, and you'll be able to experience it with Tracey. I mean, I've only experienced the Tibetan bowl, the Tibetan ones. So, and I've heard about the crystal ones and how amazing they are. You've got both.
Crystal bowls are stunning. They're just stunning. I mean, there are so many as well now, but my bowls, I've got the chakra sets. So I've got 7 bowls. They're all tuned to different frequencies. They all relate to a different chakra within your body. And the experience you get from the bowls is different every single time. So, you know,
and I hear this even in the making. I was told this a little while ago, that even when they make the crystal bowls, because crystal will just hold a certain vibration, not like human beings, right? Our vibrations can go up and down, and some more up than more down, even in a day. But crystals will hold. This is why it's so amazing and so good for you.
Yeah.
They hold that vibration. And I heard that even when they make them, it's like almost the crystal almost chooses the note that it's crazy. It's a little bit woo-woo.
It is definitely. And I've had people come to me already and have sessions, and they're a bit like, you know, what's it going to be like? And just come with no preconceptions whatsoever. Come to relax.
Open mind.
Even if you literally lay down for an hour and don't think you're going to get anything from it, the bowls will do their thing and you will absorb it regardless. And then you'll kind of carry on resonating with the bowls for the next 1 to 2 days after the actual session.
Love that.
Yeah, it's
Love that.
Yeah.
And it is. It's all about, I'm a total believer in it. It's all frequency. It's all energy.
Yeah.
And as I said,
Everything's vibration.
sometimes if we're feeling a bit low, that's what you need. You have your
Yeah.
vibration lifted. And
Yeah.
so Tracey's going to be doing that with the bowl. So yeah, I will be tuning in. Because also,
Good.
like you say, it is having that in your calendar almost. We're so busy doing things. And like I've said, it's only when in those moments of when I actually shut up, because I talk a lot. We're instructors, right? We talk a lot.
We talk.
And it's in those moments when we are quiet and we stop the chitter chatter and experience that kind of thing with our vibrations. That's when solutions to your problems come up, answers to the questions come up. So what you're offering here is not just a chance for people to just relax. What can come out of that could be massive in relation to their own lives.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So you just have to sit back and open yourself to the possibilities of whatever it's going to bring up for you. It's great.
Yeah. And that's it. You can't, people, you can say things to people, but they've got to experience it. And then they know. You only know when you know.
Yeah, definitely. So
I'm looking forward to it. I will be tuning in. So yes, we have just recently taken on Mintwave radio station. So we are going to be adding quite a few shows. And I'm loving it because these are all people that I have a lot of respect for. I know what they do. I know how long they've been doing it. I know they're good at what they do. And so this really is going to be helping, the community on a large scale, because we are going global. So very, very excited. So what day and time is your show going to be?
Mondays at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. And it's bi-weekly, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, bi-weekly. Yeah. So everyone can then schedule that in. Bi-weekly, you've got no excuse. Put it in your diary.
There you go. We will have an app.
Cushions ready.
Download it and book it in your calendar. At the end of the day, we've got all this tech to our advantage, so use it.
Yeah, definitely.
So Tracey, for anybody else out there, any other fitness instructors that are looking to go online and how, like I said at the beginning, we don't know what we don't know, right? And what on earth did I know about it? I, like you, spent my life jumping around the studio for most of it. Computers, and I'm still
Still to a degree. It's just trial and error. I'm like, press that button, see if that works. No, that didn't work. I've cut everybody off. Let's do that again. It's, I literally took my entire face-to-face schedule online in 48 hours.
Wow.
I went from being in a cocktail bar on Friday afternoon with a fellow instructor thinking, what should we do to literally coming home going, oh my God, I've got to buy a laptop, and literally went live online with my Zoom Pilates class at 9:30 on Monday morning.
There you go. And that isn't it funny that unfortunately, as humans, we tend to be, like you say, you just said there right at the beginning that this all started 12 to 13 years, but it was in the background because we get comfortable doing what you're doing. You were busy anyway. And it was only the lockdown, all work stopped, that you get forced into a corner, to make a change. And guess what? It can happen in 48 hours. That is a massive inspirational message to people out there. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to have a fancy all bells and whistles website. You need certain things. You can even start with just Zoom. You can have a free version of
Zoom on my iPad and a spiral bound notebook writing down the names of the people who were coming into class. And it was only probably, I don't know, towards the end of a year later when I thought, let's do this to the next stage. And I got my website a little bit more together and I set up my app. So all the booking was done on the app. Otherwise, it was just me writing things down. And
there you go. Start where you're at. You start where you're at with what you've got at that moment. Don't think you've got to wait till you've got all these pieces of the puzzle in place. You do not. Have a way to take payment. That's it. And Zoom, you can start with that. You don't even need an online calendar. And as you build, then, which is the same as what I've done really, as I've had a little bit more, I can invest in that and get that software. So it really is, I hope, a bit of inspiration for other people. You don't have to be a fitness coach. You can be any kind of coach or therapist, that you can start where you're at. If you've got you've got a way to help people, get it online. Get it online. So do you have a specific question, or maybe something that you struggled with in the beginning? What you think would help people maybe out there?
The thing that really kind of threw me was not being very, and still particularly not being very technologically minded. It was like all the different apps and the different platforms and the different kind of techniques and things that you had to consider to use. And I was very basic. I had my iPad on a tripod. I was lucky. I had this studio space, which incidentally came about 12 years ago when I was made redundant from my club-based position. And I built the studio then and started doing one-to-one training then. So this has always been here, but it's really come into its own in the last 3 years. But I was very basic. I was iPad, Zoom, shout, go. That was it. And it worked. And it's still, I'm loud. So it works quite well. I used the microphone for a very short space of time, but I was like, I don't really need that.
Don't need it.
So, but my question would be, ideally, I think what people like me would benefit from is having real basic idiots how-to guides of how to set up, how to download, how to kind of get going on StreamYard, on calendars, that type of thing, and have a real basic step-by-step guide of, right, do number one, tick. Yeah, that's done. Right, now move to number two. Because I think as face-to-face people who deal well with their customers, their participants standing in front of them, when you've got a bit of technology and you'll fall to pieces. I was phoning the other instructor going, I don't understand how to share the screen, for God's sake, something as basic as that. And now you're so used to it, you just tap straight into it. But I think
it's the same, isn't it? The same with even, you think back to every different program we've ever learned, every different class modality that we've learned. You go in there, and I can remember Les Mills sort of using this analogy, like you go in and you're unconsciously incompetent. You just don't even know what you don't know. And then they start teaching, or with doing this online, you're looking at different software, or you're downloading Zoom, you don't know where to go. And all of a sudden you panic, because now you're consciously incompetent. Now you know how much you don't know. And this is, I suppose, my message is, don't feel bad about that. We all go through it. None of us were born having this knowledge of all these different apps. It is a learning process, and just understand that everything is teachable. It's just you don't know yet how to do something. Yeah. And then once you do it, like you said earlier, in the beginning, you're like, try that button. It takes a long time because it is a trial and error. And then as long as you do not give up, which a lot of people do, because all of a sudden overwhelm overtakes them, doubt, worry, and they think, I can't be doing with this, and they give up. Mm-hmm. But as long as you know that, look, this is the process that we all go through, keep going. As you learn, as we all know, you do something consistent. That's the only way you learn. Yeah. Repeated, spaced repetition of one thing. That is how we learn. And then all of a sudden, you've got your ducks in a row, and you're consciously competent. And you keep going, and then you're an autopilot. You're all of a sudden unconsciously competent. And then you look back and you go, oh, it's easy. Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, but exactly. Everybody's got to go from that. You can't jump from unconsciously incompetent to unconsciously competent overnight. So in my group, in the public group, Six Figures and Beyond, I will be adding to it. I've just started doing it, so it's interesting you just said that, because it's almost like I don't want to come across as condescending in a way, but because some people will be at different stages. Some people have no idea how to do things. So I'm just going to slowly build a library of exactly that, what you said there. Right, how do you do that? I did, I think, last week about just how to set up your online calendar, or if you haven't got one, how to just do it using Google Calendar and your Zoom link. It doesn't have to be complicated. So I will be adding it. So anybody out there, if there is anything in specifically And look, I'm not an internet guru. I know what I know because somebody's shown me. And if I don't know how to do it, I will work it out and I will do a screen share video on the how to. Because yes, I understand that I'm the same, self-taught. So it can take hours because of this trial and error. So if we can speed up the process, then
I think it would be handy just to have kind of like a real basic understanding of certain platforms, certain ways to do things, so that you're not a complete idiot when you go straight into it. I mean, when I went on for the Zoom, first of all, I'd worked out, we've got the Zoom, we've got the music, although it was being done differently. It wasn't coming through the laptop at that stage. It was on a speaker to the side. So the sound quality wasn't great.
Right.
But then there was a way around that, because I was teaching Pilates. You don't really need a lot of, it wasn't choreographed. So I'd said to my participants, you choose your own music at your end. You put on the music that you like as a participant. So I had 30 people in class all listening to different pieces of music, but because they were all muted, they didn't hear each other's music and they could still hear me clearly speaking. So that really works for the mind-body classes.
That's massive. That's a massive thing. But Tracey, you are a bit of not everybody's going to be like you, because you've just totally adapted instantly. And this is a lesson to everybody. Just do it. Try it. Don't wait for things to be perfect, because it never will be perfect. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, maybe some are. I'm certainly not. We just keep going. You just got to try and then work it out as you go. I can remember great saying, one of the guys that, when I started in the digital online world, Matt Lloyd used to say, like, being an entrepreneur is like you've jumped out of a plane and you're building your parachute on the way down.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just swerve that bit, because that bit didn't quite go as planned. But
just do it. And I think people will relate to you more as well, because we're not claiming to be, we've got everything all in place. We're just out there doing what we do, trying to improve. As long as you're trying to improve every time, like even my own academy, I've had to simplify things because I'm trying to give too much and overwhelming people. And it is, come back, let's do the basics. Okay, so let me know, what do you need to know? And there's no shame in anything, nothing too small, because something that's small to us might be a massive issue for you, and as it was for me in the beginning. So just let us know what you need and we will supply it. Fabulous. So thanks, Tracey. I'm looking forward to that. Crystal bowls, fantastic. So you will be are you starting next week, or when is your start date? Do you have a date yet?
Plan is next week. Yeah.
Fantastic. We are good to go. So listen in to Tracey's show. Thank you, darling. I will see you. We will have that coffee. We will have that coffee.
Yeah, before Christmas.